Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. And so often I tell you that my favorite way to fish is by wading. And there's so many reasons why that is the case. Number one, it allows me to go places where other people don't fish. It allows me to be alone, to really soak in everything around me in a way that I can't even hardly describe, but I try to describe it to you. It really says what fishing says to me in my life. It's spiritual. But with all that said, I wanted to tell you a few things that I've learned through the years about wading. Number one, when you wade, when you're fishing and wading, remember, you're entering their world. They know you're there. It doesn't take much movements of your feet for them to be aware that something has come into our area. So wading in a very careful, quiet, deliberate, slow way is one of the keys. The second thing is that there's certain keys to protect me in wading. And I got to tell you, this last week when I was trying to wade some sections of the Grass River that I really felt might hold some big bass, the bottom, the slime that had built over all the boulders, and especially, and you will think this is contrary to what would be easy to wade, but the smoother, long, flat rock areas were so treacherous with this slime that even though I've got felt on the bottom of my waders, every step my feet could just go out from under me. And when you fall, you've got nothing to fall on but more rocks. So it became treacherously dangerous, especially for me, because, I've taken some severe falls before, and I know how damaging it can be. The other thing that I want you to be aware of in wading is when I wade these ponds that I tell you about, where I go back in and I'll fish for largemouth bass and pike, and I love it. It's incredible for me. I have to have chest waders because hip boots don't come high enough up, and I'm wading out there in water most of the time that's at least up to my waist or higher. But the dangerous part is that I almost have to use my feet as my eyes. A lot of times the water isn't clear enough to see what I'm stepping into or on. And so if you wade and all of a sudden the depth drops off suddenly, that can offset your balance and you can fall in. You don't want to fall in with waders. The other thing is that if you remain in one position very long, and I can't tell you the exact time because it changes by where you're at, but most of these ponds are going to be mucky. They're muddy. And if you stand too long, your feet will start to sink in. And the danger comes is that it doesn't take all that long sometimes for your foot to get embedded and you can't move it. And the last thing you want to do is be out there in water that deep with chest waders and have your feet get stuck in the mud. It'd be the same in duck hunting or anything. You just have to be aware of your surroundings. But once you stop paying attention, all it takes is one step. It can mean danger and even threaten survival. So for all the time I talk to you about wading, to be a successful wader and to be a safe wader, both to be successful and safe, requires a lot of elements of thought and experience. And remember, I guess the key thing is my feet become my eyes. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.